right, welcome back, guys. This is Darreck Kirby, joined again for another Mavs podcast with my buddy Enyi and Nduka. Enyi, how are you doing tonight?
What's up? Man, I'm doing fantastic. Darreck, how are you?
I'm good, man. Just staying busy with everything. I've been a little bit wrapped up. Admittedly, I've not seen as much of the Mavericks as I would like here in recent weeks, but to be honest, they're not making it easy to watch. Not for the casual fan, at least. But
for me, I'm actually quite invested in. I think I said this last podcast, but I'm actually quite invested in this rebuild process. So every game I'm tuned in. If I'm available to watch it, if not, I'm paying attention on my phone, looking at stats and stuff like that, keeping up with Tankathon.
Yep.
Man, it's really cool. So I keep telling people it's like a whole nother season down here at the bottom. Like everyone's racing for the top, we racing for the bottom. Literally, one game can make a big difference. We saw Memphis earlier in the year. They look like they're just clear cut number one. But I think they won like 2 games in a row. Now they're like number 3 or something like that. So
yeah, they had a streak of like 17 straight losses or something, and now they've won a couple. Yeah. Meanwhile, Phoenix is in a 14-game skid or 15 or something like that. So the Tankathon is in full swing. You got a lot of teams just completely cratering right now as they try to get the best odds for the number 1 pick, and it kind of makes sense that it's
last year to do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. It makes sense that it's this year it's happening because it'll be next season when the anti-tanking rules that really kind of punish teams who are blatantly trying to tank takes effect. So everyone else who might not have done it before is like, well, if there was ever a time, we might as well do it now. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mavericks are one of those teams too. We were never really. Shoot, it's been a long time, man. I mean, since I've started watching the Mavericks, which is probably early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, back when we had Calvin Booth that even struck the chord with anybody. I don't think we ever had a draft pick this high. We probably had some, like 9. I think we've been in like teens or whatever, early teens, but nothing in the top 5 or whatever. I don't think we've been that bad in a long time, since the 90s.
Yeah, I think my first season really paying attention to the Mavericks and just being aware was probably like, I want to say it was 02-03, like from the season opener on. I was hooked, and that was, Dirk really entering kind of the initial window of his prime and everything, where he kind of broke out and was like, oh wow, this dude's not just like an attraction.
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals.
Western Conference Finals. Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
Lost to the Spurs because Dirk sprained his MCL and Don Nelson wouldn't play him at 50% or whatever he said his health was. So, yep.
I mean, Don was right about that. He said it was long-term.
As Dirk is looking to come back for year 21. Yep, it looks like he.
That was a great segue.
Yeah, a little out of order, but whatever. So as Dirk's looking to enter year 21, it's stuff like that. Nelson not forsaking his career or years of his career just so they could try and win it that year. Now, if 2011 didn't happen, then I'm looking at that thinking like, Don, you son of a like that exactly. Might have been it.
In a whole nother way. So I mean, Dirk is back for his 21st season. I really didn't think it was happening. I would, if I was a betting man, I probably would have put all my chips in that Dirk. Would have probably called it quits during the summertime, which is still a possibility. I'm not sure it's for a fact that he's playing for his 21st year. He could definitely decide in the summertime that, hey, I don't think I have the legs anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely like as you watch the games, you can see that he's not the Dirk Nowitzki that we all know and love. You can tell that he doesn't have the legs in his shot anymore. He misses shots that, back in the day that he would never miss. So it's I don't want to say it's painful to watch. I mean, I love the guy. He's definitely my favorite athlete. And I grew up watching this guy. And I actually have to say, part of my personality when it comes to sports, it has to be molded a little bit to Dirk Nowitzki. Just kind of how I have my loyalties and stuff like that. I'm never really switching teams.
Sure.
And I really owed a lot of that to Dirk. So it would be hard to say this next thing that I'm about to say.
Ooh.
But yeah, I think he needs to hang it up.
No. That's blasphemy. That is. If there's a Mount Rushmore of Dallas sports, Dirk is the only basketball player on it. Dirk is Dirk's an icon here. If he wants one more year, he can have one more year. And I mean, his numbers aren't that bad. I get what you're saying. He certainly has to be used more sparingly than we're used to. His legs aren't there. He's missing shots he doesn't normally miss. But I'm looking at his stats here. He's averaging 12 points, 5.7 rebounds, shooting about 46% from the field, 41% from three, 90% from the stripe. That's not bad numbers. Yeah, you can't use them in crunch time or anything like that anymore, but all the same, I think as well, one thing that's also motivating him, though I think there are two things. On a purely superficial level, there is the fact that no player has ever played 21 seasons with one team. He is currently tied with Kobe as the only guy to play 20 with one team. And he's actually played more minutes than Kobe as well in that 20th season. So I think this puts him into literally exclusive territory. No one else has ever done it. I think that on some super superficial level that he probably doesn't even really care about, might just think, oh, that's kind of cool. That might be a factor. And then the other one I think is probably a more real factor. I don't think he wants to look like he's walking away from Dallas while they're kind of embroiled in all the drama they've had this year with the front office investigations and all of that. I think he really good point. Exactly, and not to dive into that or anything, but I really think that might also kind of motivate his decision. He doesn't want to look like he's walking away from the organization when it's in kind of a dark period. He wants to leave it on a feeling like it's on a better note.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. But like I said earlier before we started recording, if Darreck Nowitzki himself was to come to me, and because we're best friends and everything, so he's like, "Hey, Enyi and Nduka, hey, I'm thinking you should make the call whether I should play this next year or not." And I had to tell my boy, I'm like, "Yo, I think you need to hang it up. I think you not necessarily call it quits. I mean, I'm sure there's other roles you can have. Mark is more than happy to give him some sort of role to the team, but I mean, we need to get this rebuild in full swing."
Yeah, but we're at the start of that anyway. We're at the very start of the rebuild. There's no sense in rushing him off, saying it's holding someone back. They have no one at his position.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you should probably. I mean, you can pick up someone at that position fairly with the draft and free agency coming up. So, I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. I mean, with him coming back, you definitely got to still give him his respect. It's still his team.
I think he's like the fifth most, or at least earlier in the month, last month. I mean, I think he was like still the fifth most accurate 3-point shooter in the league this season as well. I mean, it was something. I read something like that. 41%. That's going to be in the upper kind of crust.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, I feel like, and I've been anti-tank for the longest time. Actually, up until I'll probably say at the end of last year. That's when I started really hopping on the tank bandwagon, or the tank wagon. Get it? But I really think, as much as I love the guy, I think we need to get this rebuild on its full swing, and let's just go ahead. I mean, if he can come off the bench, that'd be awesome. But
he says he's willing to. Just I don't think they want him to come off the bench. They're treating him with, I think, a little too much reverence, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, that's coming. We don't want it to be. And it's not a Kobe situation by any stretch of the means, because it's not like he's eating
all the money. Yeah.
Yeah. And at the same time, it's almost like, we're trying to develop these guys, develop these kids. Part of the development is developing in the leadership role, and you really can't have someone like Dennis Smith. You really can't be like, hey, you're the leader, when you have a dude that's been in the in the franchise for 21 years. You can't be like, yo, you're the leader now. Like, nah, you really can't. So
I kind of disagree there. I think that you can say you can't expect him to be the face. You can't say, hey, you're the face, but you can say you're the future, you're the lead option, and all of that. I think all of that still applies. Dirk wouldn't contest at this point that he's the alpha. I would say probably right now it's Harrison Barnes and then Dennis Smith are the 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, that would be the case, but can you really truly say that you're the leader? Like, if I don't want to say if crap hits the fan like it did this year, no one is going to Dennis Smith asking what he thinks or anything like that, because Dirk is still there. Media wise, Dirk is still the guy because he's been there. He's had the relationships with all the people, all the insiders and stuff like that. All the people who work at the office at the Mavs organization, they still look to Dirk. Yeah,
I mean, your and I's Mavericks consciousness doesn't exist beyond Dirk. Like, we've never known Dirk as a Maverick.
Exactly. So it would be weird, but it's something that we really need to, get in the full swing of. We already have, one major building piece into our future. I'm not completely sold on Harrison Barnes.
Agreed.
He might be here for another 2 years. Who knows what happens after that? So really, Dennis is our main building block, and whoever we draft this year will be the other one. Hopefully, we don't mess it up, because that could really screw up our trajectory into being contenders again. But I love Dirk. Dirk is my favorite athlete. He's my favorite player. But my dude, you need to hang it up.
Right. Speaking of Dennis Smith, how do you think he's performed his rookie year? Looking at his, you want me to rattle off his stat line real quick?
Yeah, he's about like almost 15 points a game, a little over 4 assists a game. Right?
Yeah, your ballpark. He's averaging 15.2 points a night, 5 assists, and 3.7 rebounds. The only areas that are of concern to me: field goal percentage 39.4%, 3-point percentage 31.7%, and free throw percentage 69.5%. Those all need to improve.
Okay, good. Well, good thing he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And he's only 20.
Yeah, that's 20 years old. That's the whole thing, trial by fire, right? You throw a rookie in there day one. Russell Westbrook, I know that as far as production goes at a point guard, it's not necessarily efficiency, but I bring up Russell as well just because his comparison for Dennis Smith's comparison, a lot of people said, was Russell Westbrook in terms of his athleticism. Yeah, exactly. And so Russell Westbrook as a rookie also was, if you think Westbrook's inefficient now, you should have seen his rookie year. I was at a lot of those games. I did see the first triple-double in Thunder history, but it wasn't a pretty one. It was very close to being the first quadruple-double as well with turnovers.
I was actually a really big Thunder fan back when they sucked. The year they won 23 games.
Because of KD, right? That was your guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was, dude. You remember back in the locker rooms back in high school, it was freaking, we were going crazy over KD and
Greg Oden
who will be better,
KD
or Oden.
Yep.
And I was super correct on that one. Golly.
And I acted like I didn't give a crap at all until I heard a year later that the Sonics were moving to OKC, and suddenly I was like, yeah, KD, that guy's awesome.
Oh yeah, and now look at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm grading Dennis Smith his rookie year. Man, if I can be truthful, if I can be objective, he's been my guy since November of last year. November of 2 years ago, because when he was a freshman at NC State. He's been the guy that I've wanted. But I'm trying to be objective about it, man. I'm gonna say it's a solid B.
B. Okay.
Yeah. I definitely thought he can be a rookie of the year type guy.
Yeah, that didn't really pan out.
Didn't really pan out, but who thought Donovan Mitchell had the year that he
Ben
was
Simmons
have?
too would also qualify.
And who freaking. That's not a real rookie. Anyway,
agreed. It's a second-year guy.
But
yeah,
technically he will be rookie of the year. And then, of course, 2 other people who are contending. You also got Jason Tatum, Lauri Markkanen. Those type guys are having really good years. But yeah, I'll give him a solid B, man. He has a lot of things to improve on. He definitely needs to, go to the lab this summer. Work on his floater game. I think his number one thing he needs to work on is his floater.
That's one thing I actually want Dirk as well to stay around for. Dirk's work ethic, I think, showing the kids how to work. I think that's a great leadership thing he can still instill within Dennis Smith.
That's true. And also, Harrison Barnes too has really good work ethic.
Yes, that's
from
true
what
as
I'm
well.
hearing.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes is like 24, but he acts like a grown man. That's actually really cool.
Is he still 24?
Yeah. He's 24, 25, whatever.
Okay.
Still younger than us.
Yeah. I feel like for what I've observed of Dennis Smith, which I have to say take with a grain of salt because it's less obviously than you've seen. You've stuck with the team through all of the crap this year for sure. I would say from an efficiency standpoint, I give a C+. I would say overall probably a B as well. But I feel like he has shown flashes that make me think that I look at the ceiling and I'm like, I can see this guy being an A+ player in time if he can just get that efficiency up. I don't even call Westbrook an A+ player because of his inefficiency most of the time. I consider Westbrook like an A- or an A or something. That's the grade, right? It's like plus. It's like A+, A, and then A-, right? Because minus is yeah. So I would say Westbrook's like an A- because of his inefficiency. If Dennis Smith can be more efficient, then I could see him being in that superstar category as a point guard. But right now, I think he just had kind of what we would expect. I was thinking probably like a B- for his rookie year, and I think that's about what we got.
Yeah, and I mean it's not bad. Still something to be excited for. Like I said, he has a lot of things to work on.
Sure.
I mean, if you look at some advanced stats too, I think he's number 2 on shots blocked. So
for a point guard,
for I think for anybody. Number 1 is Dennis Schroeder. Number 2 is Dennis Smith. Number 3 is James Harden.
Interesting.
But, yeah, if you look that up, I think it was something like he gets blocked 1.4 times a game.
Oh, so it's that he gets blocked, not that he is blocking. Okay.
That's
way less impressive.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I've seen some SWAT highlights from him, but not a lot. But yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely not. Yeah, okay. Absolutely not. So yeah, definitely incorporating the floater in this game.
Sure.
That would definitely help with that.
Floater runner, something like that.
Yeah, those are the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And it would be something. Yeah, it's something to look forward to seeing him develop. Because once he adds that to his game, man, he'll be so deadly. He can truly score from any level. And right now, we see virtually every time he drives in, if he has his head of steam, you see people just completely coming off their man.
What about working on that Euro step as well? Create a little. He's got the explosiveness. Just a slight change of pace, change of direction, shift around the guy. That'll create separation and help cut down on the number of times he's blocked. You would think.
See, the problem with Dennis Smith, not really the problem, but the reason why he gets blocked a lot and he hasn't developed a super good in-between game is because he's never had to.
Sure.
If you looked at his highlights in high school, he would do that hesitation move.
Yep.
And just straight dunk. And it was like uncontested. And in college as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you're seeing him in the pros, it's like, big dudes are there and it's not as easy. So definitely, and evolution comes with, any successful basketball player. LeBron James is definitely not the same guy he came in the league. Kobe Bryant wasn't the same guy exiting the league than he was when he came in. They had to keep on adding things to his game.
Mm-hmm.
Darreck Nowitzki, he was always adding things into his game. You even saw him sometimes. He even tried. There's a point in time when he was trying hook shots.
Yep.
And there's a summer where he was concentrating on hitting the corner three. Because he knew sometime later in his career that would have to be a big part of his game. He doesn't really use it still. He still uses that straight away. It's there a lot for him. But then if he can add the float game, this is what I call it, the float game, and pull up just like a Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has a deadly pull up game.
Yep.
Where he can stop on a dime and pull up at the elbow with a 15-footer. If he can add that, he'll be so dangerous. Then he can just start playing with guys. That's it. And then of course, get some shots up during the summer. Get that percentage up from 31% to about 34%. You don't need to be You don't need to be no Steph Curry. Dennis Smith doesn't. But if he can get that to a solid 35%, 36%,
sure,
he'll be deadly. Yeah, that's my general thoughts on Dennis Smith and what he needs to work on.
Yeah,
and we're not far. He's about 3 years away from probably 4 years away from seeing some time at the All-Star game and stuff like that. So
I could see that. So with the Mavericks being 23-54, having the 13th best record in the West, I think we were saying earlier that puts them at the 4th best odds currently for the number one
depending
overall.
Right now. So they're tied right now with Orlando. Orlando just lost earlier today. The Mavericks are playing right now.
Playing Portland right now.
They're playing Portland right now. They may be in the lead last time I checked. But right now we're 4. And if we win, we'll go back down to 5.
Okay.
That's how crazy these games are.
Yeah.
So Tankathon, God bless Tankathon, by the way. Whoever made that website is a freaking genius.
Right.
And yeah, they deserve to be freaking millionaires. This is great. But it does have us. Oh, sorry. If we're about to talk about prospects.
We can get there.
All right. Yeah, let me hold off on who Tankathon has us picking. But I also have my takes on who we should pick.
So with the Mavericks having currently, and this changes literally every night, so this means probably little. With the Mavericks having the 4th best odds for the number 1 overall pick, I think I heard the other day, which means it probably is no longer accurate because it was, I think, 2 days ago. It was about a 9% chance of them getting the number 1 pick, like 4th best odds, but still only around 9%.
Oh my gosh!
So, if the Mavericks were to get that pick, the speculation that I'm hearing from a lot of the local media is that DeAndre Ayton has to be your guy at number 1. I know that you're very partial, however, to Michael Porter Jr. I also wrote an article on the site, the Dallas Prospect, about why he would be. Thank you, sir. About why he would be a great fit in Dallas. You've talked about how he would kind of be the KD to Russell Westbrook, or to Dennis Smith as the Russell Westbrook comp anyway. So what are your thoughts on that? Or do you think there's another guy that should be considered that is irrationally popular?
Well, here's what I think. Here's my overall kind of philosophy on this draft is really what I said. I think our first time when we started doing podcasts after when we started doing this remote podcast, I think I said something like this was a top 7 draft.
Yep, you did.
Right. Not that I came up with it, but that's kind of what the scouts are saying. People.
It's not quite as deep, as the previous year, getting Dennis Smith at 9.
Quite as deep. Yeah. So, I am heavy on Michael Porter.
Yep.
Even with the back injury and everything, I definitely think given some time, we don't need to rush him back. I don't need him to be, putting up 20 points a game. Based on ceiling, that's who I will want number 1. DeAndre Ayton is another guy that's really good. My kind of thing on him is not my thing. Looking at his tape and watching him play, especially a lot at the end of the season.
Yep.
He definitely lacks a lot on defensive instincts. He has all the tools. 7'1", 260 pounds. I think he has something like a 7'6", wingspan, something like that.
He's got some range as well to his game.
Yeah, very long. Yeah, exactly. He still lacks on defense, and it's instinct. You'll see him play, and like little guys are putting up layups right by him, and that should not be the case, especially at the collegiate level. So I definitely have my hangups on that, because if I'm gonna have a big guy, especially in this day and age, you're gonna have to do more than just score.
That's kind of the case with any big man in college right now, though, right? Or really any college player is with all the one-year guys, you're not going to have a lot of defensive gems coming out. You're going to have explosive players or guys with high ceilings.
That's true, but we are seeing. I mean, some of them might have a little bit of something defensively.
Sure.
So, like for example, Jaren Jackson Jr. One of his pluses on his tape is he's a very good shot blocker. In fact, almost as good statistically as Mohamed Bamba. You know what I mean? And he's not as tall. He was blocking something like 3 blocks a game in college. Mohamed Bamba was a solid 3 blocks a game. DeAndre Ayton was like 1 something, and I mean, he was probably getting those solely because of his height. You know what I mean? Like Mo Bamba was swatting stuff, and he was like tracking it down. Jaren Jackson the same. You can tell that, and it was probably because of Arizona too. Their defensive scheme is not very great, and I also heard that sometimes DeAndre was playing out of his position. He was actually playing a 4 sometimes, probably because of his range offensively.
Yeah.
But you know, drafting him at 1, I definitely wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't be like, dang it, we should have got Michael Porter.
Sure.
So I can definitely talk myself into DeAndre Ayton. He's definitely one of the. If I were to put him solely on ceiling, in my eyes, in my expert scouting eyes, him and Michael Porter have the 2 best ceilings out of all the prospects.
That does seem to be the gist of what I'm hearing, as far as highest ceiling, certainly. Okay, so if we were to end up with a player like Ayton, now he would primarily play center for us, presumably, as you've just stated. He was playing out of position at the 4. So if Dallas does end up being able to get Ayton, let's talk about the guy he's going to replace in Dallas. The trade we were all so hyped for at the deadline last year, and here we are a year and a half later, and it's
Can I tell a short little story?
Sure. So
I remember I was at work. I was working in some mortgage company at the time when my phone went off. And from the phone, you know, it was towards the end of, you know, the trade deadline, so you know I had my eyes on my phone a lot.
Yeah.
But then I guess I wasn't looking at it for a long time, so I really didn't know that anything was in the works. And when I get that notification, and I tell you, dude, I took like the longest bathroom break. It was like a 15-minute bathroom break. It was like, what? I had to like check everyone,
verify,
stuff like that. I was very, very excited. Not so much.
Yeah. So, well, obviously we're talking about the Mavericks / deadline acquiring Nerlens Noel. He was supposed to be the Tyson Chandler starter kit. The 23-year-old.
23.
Yep, 23-year-old center, rim runner, shot blocker, rebounder. You know, it was supposed to be the perfect. Then you get Dennis Smith. It's supposed to be the perfect pairing with Dennis Smith Jr. And he showed some real. He
was excited about getting Dennis Smith. He was
exactly. And you know, Nerlens showed some real flashes last year, and I think he only ended up getting like significant time. They acquired him with like 22 games left, and he showed flashes throughout about 12 of those games before they shut him down. Oddly,
he definitely showed flashes in the opener too.
Yeah, that Memphis game. That Memphis game was like could have been a 2020 game almost. I mean, it was stellar.
The opening game against Atlanta, like game 1.
Yep. This season.
I was at that game, and he probably had something like 16 points, 10 rebounds. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he didn't finish the game. And
he was in for the last play, but he was out for a good stretch of the fourth quarter.
You know, I was like yelling at Carl. I was like, "Why is Nerlens out the game? Like, what the crap is going on?"
Yeah.
Now, I guess we get the full picture of that.
Yes. So his season is mired with all of these issues with Carlisle. We basically come to find out he puts in minimal effort at practice. He freelances on defense a lot, and so he breaks from defensive scheme just to hunt blocks because he returned on a 1-year deal. So let's mention that first. He turned down a 4-year or a 5-year?
4 years.
4 years, $70 million. Turns it down
something like that,
to bank on himself, and a 1-year deal. Takes the qualifying offer. Made less money this year than he made last year because he didn't qualify for starter minutes as for a qualifying offer. So banks on himself, and then he comes in. Looks great early on in Atlanta, but then there's so many, just a slew of did not play coaches' decisions. Then you have the odd thumb injury, which resulted in him having surgery. You had Hot Dog Gate. I mean, you just had so many bizarre things surrounding him. And then even when he came back, it was just like he was just kind of there. Like it didn't really feel like he was having much of an impact. And, you know, now today the news comes down that he's been suspended the final 5 games for failing the NBA's drug policy. So I think I told you this earlier. Tim McMahon of ESPN Dallas put it best, I think. He said, and I'm paraphrasing slightly here. He said, Nerlens Noel's tenure in Dallas didn't go the way anyone expected or hoped, but at least he went out on a high note. I think that's about as spot on as you can get. Yeah, because he's done. There's zero chance of him coming back. There's no way, and he's not going to have a good market either. It's going to be something where it's like a Bryce Butler situation. He's going to basically leave for another prove-it contract with someone else.
Do you really think there's a zero chance he will be back in Dallas?
I put it under 5%.
Yeah, that's where I think
I could see a scenario, but I don't see who it's good for.
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, he's almost to a point now where he just needs to, just collect checks, and his decision making can very well just completely play him out his career.
Yeah, I still want to know who was in his ear to tell him to turn down that $70 million deal, man. That's insane for a guy to do that. Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely don't rule him completely out returning, but if he does return, is definitely because the realization that the market there's just nowhere for him to go. No one's willing to give him the money. No one's gonna invest money in some dude. I mean, because here's what I know. I'm not too knowledgeable about the drug policy and when people when the NBA tests for drugs and stuff like that. But I do know that the players have an idea. Yep.
The agents have an idea.
Yep. And
it's not that I have anything against weed. I really don't. I honestly have no opinion on weed at all. I don't smoke it or anything like that. I have no opinion on it. Where I'm coming from is a decision making. Like, if I'm Mark Cuban or if I'm any owner of the other 29 teams in the NBA, and you're asking me to give you, I don't know what he can ask for. He's definitely not asking for the max deal. You can't. So. Whatever you're asking for, let's say he's asking for 10 mil to be a starting center in the NBA. How can I give you 10 mil if I can't trust that you're going to make the decisions to even be on the floor?
Absolutely, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Nothing to do with weed. It's all about decision making. And so, I mean, if he's getting caught with, getting busted, testing positive for, I'm not sure if it's weed or is it? Do we know for a fact that it's weed, or is it just?
I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, I'm not 100%. The implication that I've heard tossed around is that it was weed, which the NBA doesn't even test for stringently. So I almost feel like that's a sign he must have been kind of abusing it, or like you said, he got a heads up. Hey, just make sure you're good for this, and in like the 2-week period or whatever it takes to clear through your system, he just decided to go with it anyway.
F it.
Yeah. So
Nerlens Noel. When I hear about that in the NFL, that's where I really, because I actually know about the NFL. The NFL is they only test one time in a year, and that's
unless you're Randy Gregory.
Unless you're in the program, exactly.
In which every cup of water at training camp comes with a pea cup.
That is very true. Anyway, I don't want to get into Randy Gregory.
Sure, no. This is the Mavs podcast.
This is the Mavs, man. I got the Mavs shirt on.
Yep. So Nerlens Noel, you blew it.
If you guys let me get in on that. Yeah, you blew it, man. Blew it. You cost yourself millions of dollars.
Loads and loads of money.
So you can probably look at another 1-year deal.
Think about it too. If he had signed that $70 million deal, there's no way he's getting that many. He's not getting coaches or did not play coach's decision. He's not getting DNP'd. Yeah. He's going to be out there because they're paying him at that point. What, 17 mil a year?
Yeah,
or
it was
more.
That's what it was. 17 mil a year.
Yeah. So
I mean,
crazy to turn that down. I mean. Usually you only turn something. Yeah, usually you turn something like that down if you know or have a general idea. Like your agent kind of puts out feelers, and another team's like, yeah, we'd be interested in giving a contract like that or something better. Like, there's no way someone told him they were interested in that. It's a terrible market for him even this summer. There's not as much money as he turned down.
I think there's even less money. That's the reason why I'm saying.
Yep.
There might be a chance he back because the Mavericks are one of the teams that have money.
They could.
We might strike out on other centers and other big people. Let's say they do draft, Michael Porter. Or let's say we move back in the draft from where we are right now, and we draft Mikal Bridges, which that's another guy I'm actually looking at. If you watched him during the his championship run, there are some games. Not definitely in the Final Four. I guess he kind of played himself out, but he has some stuff that I definitely would like to see on the Mavs. Anyway, but let's say the Mavs, fall back, draft a wing or a guard, and you might strike out in free agency for a big man. That's probably one of the ways you might see Nerlens back here, but it's probably going to be for another 1-year deal. Nothing super serious. Probably 1 year, 4 or 5 mil. Nothing as much as he definitely could have got for that 4 year, 70 mil.
Sure.
Nah. He said he bet on himself, and obviously he's not very good at gambling.
No.
So
he basically was playing blackjack and said, "Hit me at 20." There was almost no chance of that working out, and he was just like, "Do it." He put down another card. That's 27. Hit me. He's still saying it.
Was that for Family Guy or something?
I think so. I think that's been done a few different places, but yeah.
I think Family Guy has.
Yeah, I think that is an old Family Guy episode, but it's probably something that was on The Simpsons first. Who knows?
Probably, yeah.
But
yeah, man. Yeah, it sucks to be an early. I mean, not necessarily. He's still making a lot of money.
Sure.
Playing a game that I'm sure he loves. I'm sure he wouldn't want to be doing what I'm doing full time. So
right.
He's still lucky, but definitely he needs to turn something around if he wants to fulfill his potential.
So what's
everyone thought he had coming out of Kentucky?
Right. So what's your outlook for the Mavericks next season? Now, obviously, part of this is predicated on what draft pick do they get, like what number, who do they end up with. Do you think that this summer, assuming things are as they are right now, do you think this summer they can add one or more quality free agents because of Dennis Smith Jr.'s aura?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Not just because of Dennis Smith, or just simply for the fact that we're one of the few teams that have money going into the summer.
That helps, of course. Yep.
Yeah, it does. So, I mean, funny enough, all these times where we're talking about, keeping our powder dry and stuff like that.
Oh, I hated that one. I hated that slogan because it felt fake even on the day they released it. You're just looking at it like, you got Lamar Odom on your team. That powder is soaked.
That powder is super wet. God dang it. Anyway, but what's cool now is we have money. Not everyone else has money because free agency in 2016 screwed over everybody.
Right.
And we didn't really, cash in on that. So we actually kept our powder dry. And lo and behold, 2 years later, we're actually probably going to cash in on that.
It's okay. Mark Cuban has read the CBA. He knew this would happen this way. He just had to unofficially tank for like 5 years.
Dennis Smith just alley-ooped to himself. That's
off the backboard.
Awesome. All right, off the backboard.
Very nice.
Look at that.
That is a team with nothing to play for. But that highlight will be on the Dallas Prospect Facebook page very soon, I'm sure.
You better freaking
trust me. If I haven't already done it, literally as we speak, I'm almost saying that in the past tense as if I've somehow already posted it. If I don't do it, Big Game James absolutely will.
Oh, he's a big Dennis Smith fan.
Oh yeah, man. He's usually most of the highlights you see on the page are coming from him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
He keeps track of. He's a Mavs fan, but I think he's kind of like a lot of fans in the sense that he hasn't been super tuned in the last couple of years just because of frustration with the team. But I do know that he's kept an eye on Dennis Smith.
Yep.
Sometime he'll.
Yeah, tell everyone.
Yeah, sometime he'll be on a Mavs podcast with us too. I know he's interested in joining us for one.
All right, cool. I'm happy to have him on. Yeah, he was definitely awesome at the
live remote.
Mavs beat the freaking Blazers. God.
Oh, Mavs won? Jeez.
Yeah.
Who told them that was a good idea?
They couldn't even capitalize on the freaking Magic winning. Gosh darn it.
115-109. Jeez.
Yeah, so now we're going to play him tomorrow, which is a beauty. We actually play in Orlando tomorrow at Orlando. So hopefully they can be smart and lose that one.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give, dude. It's like every game. This is like every game matters, but it's like in the opposite end. I was telling one of my friends, if you ever watched that episode of South Park, you watch South Park, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, not like every episode, but I've seen a lot of it.
Okay, I've seen. Yeah, okay. So have you seen the episode when they were playing baseball in the summer?
Yeah, and they just want to lose, but they keep accidentally advancing.
Yeah,
and it moves on to the next tournament.
It's basically turned into that. So
pretty much.
So
yeah.
For anyone who hasn't watched it, well, how that episode went was both teams wanted to lose.
Yep.
So they were basically playing to lose, but they were trying to outplay the other team and losing. Yep. So it was like
tank the other team.
Opposite of baseball. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was like, hey, if you know the ball is going in the strike zone, don't swing.
Yep.
But if you see that it's going out of the strike zone, swing and miss. So it was a bunch of that stuff, and it was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's what the Mavs should be doing now. It's seriously, like, they need to try to, go for the best.
I think they need to play Dennis Smith at the 5 the last few games.
You need to do some.
They got 4 games left now, so to update what we were saying earlier, they are now 24-54.
Yep.
So now their odds are probably like the 5th best.
Yeah. So it'll probably change tomorrow.
Yep.
So it'll probably change another 5 times depending on. Yeah, actually, it might change even if they're not playing too, because of the other teams.
Yeah.
So many other teams in the mix. So it's gonna be fun though. I do think we're gonna end up with at least a top 6, top 7 pick. So we're gonna get a good prospect. So nothing to super worry about unless we get super screwed in the lottery. But yeah, I mean, to go back to your original question, what's my outlook on next year? Definitely with the summer coming up, summer's going to be exciting again for Mavs fans. And definitely the draft. So it's going to be like a full summer of we're going to be, have stuff to talk about, stuff to look forward to. Summer League is going to be very fun again. I'm not even quite sure Dennis is probably going to play again. They probably won't let him.
Nah,
but if he does, it'll be very exciting. Yeah, exactly. It will be very exciting if they can land on a Michael Porter. I don't expect him to see too much of Summer League action just because he probably needs to get his back right and stuff for actual play.
Yeah.
But if he can land another top prospect, Summer League will be very fun. And then, of course, going into free agency, depending on who we can land. Of course, Julius Randle's being talked about, Aaron Gordon. We also got, a couple other people. Just throw it out there. He's not even going to be a free agent, but Dennis Smith followed Hassan Whiteside on Twitter yesterday.
You said,
don't know if that's going to mean anything.
You said Whiteside's not a free agent, though?
He's not a free agent.
No, because he just re-upped like 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But I did see that he was very unhappy about his situation in Miami.
Yep.
Getting time at the end of the games. And I mean, they're really not playing for much anyway. So
I would love to have Hassan Whiteside on our team.
Oh yeah,
I really wanted. Yeah, I really wanted them to find a way to get him a couple years ago, but he took the more money to stay with Miami, and then that same offseason, Dwayne Wade left for Chicago, and as if Miami didn't have a whole lot worth staying for at the time, but after Wade left, it was just like, ooh.
Yeah, there's really nothing to play for anymore.
And I remember they got excited about Dion Waiters, and I was like, oh, you poor fools. That's adorable.
Speaking of former Thunder players, your boy Dougie has been
Dougie
showing
McBuckets.
out.
Yeah,
man, he's like something like I think he's shooting over 60% since the All-Star break at 3-point range. Definitely some dude I would love to have back. I actually been a fan of Doug McDermott even before he was on the Mavericks. I think back when he was, who was the team he got drafted
Chicago.
By? Was it Chicago?
Chicago, then Thunder,
Okay, so
then
I was
Knicks,
actually a fan of him. I was a fan of him even when he was in Chicago. So
I like,
definitely cool to have him.
I like Dougie McBuckets for sure. He wasn't used well in OKC, but in part it's because you think about it on paper, you're like, well, he's a spot-up three-point shooter, and Westbrook penetrates on like every play anyway, so why would that be a bad formula? Well, it's because Westbrook also takes 20-plus shots a game, and because McDermott was one of several guys that could be kicked out too, and also a huge defensive liability. And I don't think the Thunder had a good coach who ran an offensive system that complemented him as well, or knew how to really hide or kind of mask his defensive liabilities. So I am 100% out on OKC's coach Billy Donovan.
Oh really?
I was out on him even before. I was unimpressed with him in year one, and I think had he actually been a better offensive coach as far as installing some kind of offensive scheme or flow or whatever like that, I think they probably would have kept Durant, because I think Durant was frustrated by the fact that it was still the same lack of ball movement and just, you take your turn, Russ, I'll take my turn, back and forth. Part of that's on Russ and Durant as well, but it's from leadership perspective, and he looked at what the Warriors were doing. But again, not to talk Thunder now. I was trying to simply highlight that O'Donovan is nowhere near the coach that Carlisle is.
Oh, definitely not. No, Coach Carlisle. I mean, from the merely standpoint of we're trying to lose games.
Yeah,
Carlisle's he's not the right coach for it, because his guys are. He's gonna get the best from his guys every night.
Unless they're Nerlens Noel.
Unless they're, I mean, Nerlens Noel, Rajon Rondo. You have characters like that. You tend to, get some pushback. But
sure.
I mean, he generally gets the best out of his guys. I mean, just having him on the team, he's probably going to add 4 or 5 wins to, to your win-loss column. I mean, can you imagine what the Mavs would be like if they didn't have Rick Carlisle this year? We would definitely be at the #1 spot. So,
yeah, for sure. All right.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely one of the best guys out there. Can't say enough about Rick Carlisle, Ricky C. I was definitely excited when we first got him. I don't know how many years ago. He's been coach here for a minute. So actually, I got frustrated with him too, because he's just such a winning coach that even when you have a crappy team, I mean, we had OJ freaking Mayo on our team, and we managed to win 45 games. We won 45 games when OJ Mayo was our freaking second best player, and Dirk didn't even play 20-something games that year. And he still won 45 games.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And nearly made the playoffs.
Nearly. We were like a couple games away, probably like a game or a game and a half away from making the playoffs.
Yep.
Rick Carlisle, baby.
Yep.
Y'all should, all the other teams should try to trade for him. Try to pull a Doc Rivers. Y'all traded for that overrated coach.
Nah, Mark will never part. Yeah, Mark will never part with Rick. As long as Rick wants to be in Dallas, he'll stay. So.
Nope. Yeah, he has a good thing going.
Yep. All right.
Well, actually heard he was having. He said this was his funnest year of coaching outside of the championship game.
That's hard to believe, and
I believe
also
him.
Incredibly sad.
I believe him. Yeah, I mean, if you're a coach that you like challenges, if you're a successful guy, you definitely like challenges. So he he was probably up for the challenge. People thought he was being sarcastic, but I was like, you don't. If he was being sarcastic, he would have never said apart from the 2011 team. So I think he's telling the truth.
Okay. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up our time. Is there anything you want to say? Like, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
I mean, I'm not really active on social media, and I need to be. But if you want to stop by and look at my old tweets.
Your old what?
I meant to say tweets. I don't know what I said. I just said either said ticks or tips.
Yeah, it was definitely the second one there. Definitely.
Oh man, all right.
Definitely the second one. Let me find an appropriate drop for that.
Anyway, yeah, find me on Twitter at Sports Anytime. You can definitely go to the website at www.thedallasprospect.com. We have some great Cowboys content. We're trying to start up some hockey content. We're definitely looking for Rangers people. Rangers just started up. They're already not doing so hot.
Already depressing.
Yeah, shoot. But yeah, we're trying to get some hockey talk. That's funny. Some hockey stuff going. Got some of my friends who are trying to get that started up. We're about to add in some more contributors. It's gonna be fun. Also, check out some of our sponsors. Definitely go to the Mexico restaurant here during the draft. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We got some stuff going. Can you explain a little bit of what's going down in the draft for the?
So, Thursday, April 26th, day 1 of the draft. I don't know if it's round 1 or round 1 and 2.
It's just round 1.
Just round 1. Okay. Well, we will be at
day 1 is round 1. Day 2, 2 and 3. Day 3, 4, 5, 6. 7.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we will be at Mexico again for another live remote covering the first round of the NFL draft. That'll be fun. I think we're basically going to be streaming the entire first round. We're gonna have all your people out again. We're gonna have Law Nation again. Big Game James flying in. We might have computer. I don't know for sure on that one. But we're gonna have the people out there. I know you and Micah both said that you were going to be coming out. Maybe we'll also
Thursday. Are we doing that all weekend or just?
No, it's just Thursday.
Just Thursday. Okay, I'll change my plans. I'll be out there on Thursday.
Okay. So we'll have you guys. Maybe we'll also have some of our new contributors as well that you alluded to earlier, Cedric and Derek Moore.
Oh yeah, check out Cedric's piece on who was it? Guy from Texas.
Malik Jefferson.
Yeah.
He's got another one coming out later this week for the site as well. He already gave me another profile. I typically schedule out 2 to 3 articles a day. So it's actually nice now that we're actually getting a decent number of kind of contributors coming in, and it's not just me having to do every piece of content. I can actually schedule entire 2 or 3 days ahead of time and just be like, this is great. I don't have to stress about it midday. Like, oh, I need another piece of content out. So yeah,
that's what happens when you have a growing site, baby.
Yeah, man, it'll be good. We'll have that as well. That one I think he said was on. I think it's the center. Cooper, is that his name for Texas?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, regardless.
The only offensive lineman I know from Texas is Connor Williams, and that's about it.
That's who it is. You're right. See, I'm an Oklahoma guy, so if your Texas guy's not at least a running back or a wide receiver, some kind of skill position, then it's irrelevant to me. Or if it's a guy sacking the quarterback, if he's sacking like Baker Mayfield or next year Kyler Murray or whoever, then I would take note.
Kyler Murray's gonna be trash. Anyway, what do you think Baker? Where do you think Baker's gonna go?
Baker, I could see a couple different scenarios play out. I could see the Jets. I could see the Giants, especially now the Giants traded up into the 6th spot. Why not take 6 So Savage at 6, to quote RJ Young, 6 So Savage. That makes sense. That makes sense for me there. Although I admit that would hurt my heart immensely if Baker was on the Giants. But
oh yeah.
But I don't know. Anywhere but Cleveland, man. That's my motto. Anywhere but Cleveland.
Man, what you mean?
No.
Did you see the moves they made?
I don't even care. I don't even care. You know what? They traded for their quarterback. They don't need to draft mine. It's fine.
No. Whatever. That guy from Bills is not the answer. I mean, I like Baker. Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, he's not the answer. He's just a bridge. He's not the guy.
Yeah.
But Baker Mayfield to Cleveland. Let's make it happen.
Let's not. You will have Sooner fans everywhere marching on the Cleveland offices protesting.
Why not? He actually may be the guy to turn it around.
No, you're trolling the hell out of it. No,
I'm not.
I'm
not trolling.
I was trying to make the case before the season ended that Jacksonville would be perfect, but then they messed that up by giving frickin' Blake Bortles like $50 million. Like, what are you doing? The dude is trash. You were that close to being in the Super Bowl, and you make that decision. Like the one guy you should have broken from.
But you don't remember all the moves the Browns made, dude? They probably have one of the best.
I'm aware of the moves they made. I'm also aware that they're the Browns, and so it won't matter. Anyway,
they're different now because they actually have weapons.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Also, check out Sports Cases, people.
Yes, it's upside down. Yeah. Sports Cases, promo code Prospect. Hey, are you the one who used my promo code the other day?
I was the one that used your promo code.
Mystery solved. I wondered. I got an email saying that I got like what's the word? Not a compensation. Whatever. Like you used my promo code, and so it gave me a little kickback. And I got the email, and I was like, "The heck is this? It's like spam or something."
There you go, man.
Yeah, man.
That's the people, man. Contributing to the website, dude. Yeah, so everyone who's listening, go ahead and hit up Sports Cases.
Sports
they have
Cases.
Way more than Cowboys
Sports
stuff.
With a Z on the end, not an S. Sportscases.com. Yep. And use promo code Prospect. Save you, I think it's 10% off. Yep, and you're supporting the site because we're getting a little kickback from that as well.
And I think they got like a sale. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but like it went down from like $23 a case to like $18 a case. It's not really that bad.
Nice.
So go ahead and get yourself some nice Apple cases. Like I have that Zeke Elliott hurdling.
Yep.
That random Bears player making him look foolish. It's beautiful. Holding that Apple Signia, it looks great.
Very nice. If you're in the area on April 26th, come out, see us at in Plano at Megsy Go Restaurant and Club. We'll be doing our live remote there again. That'll be a lot of fun. We had a great turnout. Our first show, I think we had like 40 people come out and see us in the middle of the week. That was awesome. And we didn't even have the draft then, so theoretically this should be an even bigger show. But yeah, we got things moving.
Am I gonna get a mic this time?
I'm working on that. I'm actually in the process. I had to borrow a soundboard last minute because of technical issues. I'm actually going to have to buy one myself now, and I'm going to get one that can support up to six inputs. So that
promo code got you the money for that.
yeah, that promo code, you buying a case, definitely helped me buy this soundboard. But yeah, so we'll have up to 6 mics this time instead of 4. Last time we just got kind of boxed into a corner by a last minute technical issue, but we'll be good on that. So, and again, like I said, I don't know for sure that computer will be out there again. Hopefully he will, but if not, we're straight with what we got. So we'll have Law and James.
I can come in too.
Yep, you can tag in.
I've been doing a little bit of research, baby.
It might not be a bad idea for us to tag in some of our other Dallas prospect contributors that are there and who are, relatively knowledgeable on some of the prospects and Cowboys in general. So way to feature the entire site. I like it. But, all right, man. Thanks for joining me on this podcast, Enyi. I will get this edited and uploaded probably tomorrow. And other than that, until next time, do you want to make this a regular Tuesday thing, or do you want to just kind of play it by ear? Since I guess the season's ending, it doesn't really make sense to be.
Let's try to play it by ear. Yeah. Let's try to play it by ear. We'll definitely start ramping up in the off season because we'll have a lot more stuff to talk about. It'll be probably more of a weekly thing. And, you might if you can do it 2 times a week during the off season, we'll definitely play it by ear. But typically with professional sports. There's a lot more to talk about during the off season.
Yeah.
Especially NBA, because of all the craziness that goes on. But yeah, dude, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great and fun. And let's go ahead and write this thing out.
All right, thanks
Peace
guys.
out.
Thanks guys for joining us. Until next time.
Remember,
salute.
you're dealing with nothing but the best. What is it?
As always. Good man. I'm just letting the animation play and